U.S. economy, growth, inequality, job stability, and sustainability. A comprehensive analysis of economic priorities and challenges. Introduction and analysis. I'll be talking about GDP growth, income inequality, job market shifts, and economic stability. What is GDP and why does it matter? GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product. It is a key economic metric that measures the size and health of an economy to see how good your country is doing. This graph shows GDP per quarter in 2022 and 23. While it reflects economic output, it does not account for wealth distribution, illegal activities, or environmental impact. It should not be the only form of measurement used to determine a country's progress. Should we keep growing GDP? While economic growth is important, uncontrolled expansion can lead to environmental degradation. This graph shows in 2017 the U.S. is high in CO2 emissions, as pollution comes from our traffic sector, but more recent times we have brought this down. This provides a broader perspective on national progress and should be considered. Another alternative form of measurement, the Human Development Index, or HDI, should also be considered. This picture shows the HDI versus GDP in 2022. The US is also high here. HDI is a measure of key human dimensions of human development: a long and healthy life, a good education, and a decent standard of living. GDP per capita is adjusted for inflation and differences in the cost of living. Another alternative measure, Genuine Progress Indicator (GPI) is a metric designed to measure the nation's economic well-being more comprehensively than traditional GDP by taking into account not only economic activity but also social and environmental factors. This is a map comparing GPI to GDP from the 1950s into the 2000s. As you can see, it's significantly lower. This gives a broader understanding of national progress. HDI accounts for life expectancy, education, and income levels, offering insight into human well-being beyond just economic output. A country may have high GDP but will still suffer from poor health and education outcomes, which can limit long-term growth and sustainability. GPI adjusts GDP by factoring in social and environmental costs such as income equality and pollution. It provides a clear picture of whether economic growth is generally improving people's lives or just increasing corporate profits at the expense of social welfare. EI, environmental impact assessments, highlight the sustainability of economic growth. Continuous GDP expansion often leads to resource depletion and increased CO2 emissions, which can cause long-term economic damage through climate change and ecological degradation. By considering HDI, GPI, and environmental impact alongside GDP, policymakers can develop more balanced strategies that promote both economic and social progress while ensuring environmental sustainability. Income inequality. The richest 10% of Americans control a significant portion of national wealth. This contributes to economic instability and social unrest. The pictures shown below are the examples of the rich getting richer. Effects of income inequality. Stagnant wages refer to a situation where worker earnings fail to keep up with inflation and productivity growth, reducing purchasing power over time. Despite economic expansion and increased corporate profits, Many American workers have seen little to no real wage growth in recent decades. As productivity rises, wages should ideally follow, but instead much economic gain gone to corporate profits and top earners, widening income inequality as shown in the top diagram. The consequences of stagnant wages include reduced consumer spending, increased household debt, and a growing wealth gap, all of which can show economic growth. As shown in the bottom diagram, wages are far below the GDP from 1980 to 2014. Many American workers earn less than a livable wage, despite rising costs of housing and healthcare. According to this chart, in 2022, households with children need two working adults and are barely above the poverty line. Wage policies enforced can help narrow the gap between economic classes. As of January 2025, federal minimum wage stands at $7.25 per hour. This puts many Americans below the poverty line. Solutions to income inequality. Government policies like raising the minimum wage and improving access to education can help, but corporate responsibility matters too. Wage policies, education, and progressive tax structures can greatly affect economic status progression. Jobs in America. The impact of technology. Automation and AI are reshaping the workforce, leaving some without jobs. For instance, in manufacturing, the rise of automation and robotics has boosted production processes, decreasing the need for manual labor positions. Similarly, the retail sector is suffering with the shift to online shopping, where automated systems and self service checkouts reduce the need for traditional cashier roles. But hope is not lost. Impact of COVID-19 on jobs. COVID-19 pandemic caused massive unemployment surge, but it accelerated job market transformations as well. It created remote job opportunities and permanent shifts in certain industries. This chart is one example of job opportunities. It shows marketing job postings listed on Indeed.com in the United States from 2020 to present. Obviously, there was a rise during the pandemic. The need for highly skilled workers is increasing. As seen in this chart from January 2025, private education and health services are in high demand, as well as leisure and hospitality and government industries. Education and job training are essential to help displaced workers transition into these industries. I feel certain industries can never fully replace human beings. Preventing future economic crises. I'm doing my best here. U.S. national debt. Government debt levels have risen, prompting concern about long term financial responsibility. This graph shows the government debt from February 2024 to January 2025. After the initial shock, I asked myself, what the heck did the Biden administration do as he was leaving office? But that's for a different presentation. I will next show you ways I will lower and prevent future economic crises. Tariffs, goals, and impact. Trade tariffs can benefit the economy in a few different ways. Tariffs protect domestic industries by taxing imported goods, hoping consumers will buy local and protect local jobs. They also increase government revenue, which increases funding for public services. Tariffs also reduce trade deficits and encourage local investment. I include this as I was inspired by President Trump's idea. The benefits tariffs offer go along with my proposal of a circular economy. The need for a recycle, reuse economy is imperative. A circular economy, which I would propose, minimizes waste and create new economic opportunities. Jobs will be created in renewable energy, recycling, and sustainable manufacturing. The picture on the left shows 2019's high demand of blue-collar workers in both wind and solar jobs. Transitioning to a sustainable energy sources supports long-term economic and environmental health. It is also important to encourage green industries and renewable energy investments. Conclusion: the U.S. economy faces complex challenges that require a balanced approach to ensure sustainable growth, economic equity, and job stability. While GDP remains a key indicator in economic performance, it should not be the sole purpose of measure of success. Policymakers must also consider income distribution, environmental impact, and long-term economic resilience. Addressing income inequality through progressive taxation, wage reforms, and accessible education is crucial for a more equitable society. Similarly, adapting to technological advancements and ensuring livable wages will help stabilize the job market. Future economic policy should emphasize balanced trade agreements, fiscal responsibility, and the sustainability efforts like recycling and green energy investments. Strengthening these areas will help the U.S. economy be more resilient against future disasters and global economic shifts. Maintaining economic stability requires proactive policymaking, innovation, and a commitment to sustainability. By focusing on diversified economic strategies, responsible fiscal management, and equitable growth, the U.S. can create a thriving economy that can benefit all citizens. The key to long-term prosperity lies in having a system that values both economic progress and social well-being, ensuring a strong foundation for future generations. Thank you.